Hey guys, Buff here. As you know, Lies of P has some DLC that came out recently called Overture, and with that comes 8 new bosses. I thought it would be fun to sit here and rank them easiest to hardest, as you know YouTubers do. But I'm going to go into this a little interesting because my caveats are I actually use summons, call me a casual or whatever you will, and that's heavily going to skew this list I think for some people, and it's also going to be interesting where I put them because I feel like I had a really lucky match against like one or two of the bosses that I think you're going to find difficult. But with all the fluff out of the way, let's just get straight into it with my first pick. Now, the easiest boss in Lies of P Overture for me is going to be Veronique, the leader of the sweepers. She's kind of like losing her mind. She uses a big fiery hammer, and my first attempt against her was actually pretty easy. What I think most people will actually find difficult is the burning effect that happens. Other than that, her attacks are pretty telegraphed. She is just kind of relentless in some ways, but other than that, it's a pretty easy fight, especially if you're using the bow. Now, the second easiest boss to me is actually going to be the two-faced Overseer. Admittedly, I instantly called in backup because there was no way I was not doing that fight with Alidoro. He's just so cool, and I think that was what made this fight extremely easy. I actually beat this boss first try, so there was no really learning. I just got really lucky with using my Legion arm, having Alidoro, take some of the hits, and I wish I knew the fight a little more, but maybe I can go back on the boss rush mode and learn more about it. I was just so focused on trying to beat this DLC that was at the least of my to-do list at the time. Now, this boss is optional. You might have missed it if you beat the game, and it's actually the pre-metamorphic Green Hunter, which turns into the green monster you see in the swamp area in the original timeline. He has some of the same moves. He's obviously still transforming. He has a leeching life move, but it's kind of not the same song and dance, but once you realize who you're going up against, it kind of clicks. And you're like, oh, it's this dude. He does have some cooler movesets, but he still burrows underground to attack you. He still tries to hit you with some tendrils. So yeah, I don't think it was too difficult. If anything, it was a very cool thing for them to add as an optional boss, and I like it. Now this pick, I feel like is going to really be divisive for most people, and that's going to be Markiana. Am I pronouncing that right? I'm trying to read it over here. Puppeteer of Death. The one that uses 2. It's a 2v2 fight because I use summons, and I also just kind of went in realizing that I could probably just focus her. And if you watch this gameplay that I post, I got really lucky again with the Legion arm. This was a first try, first beat kind of situation. The Electric Blitz Legion arm and them being stacked together is insanity. Along with just having them bundled together, their life totals get destroyed. But I will say she's going to be this high strictly because I could see the potential of she starts giving life to the other person, and I didn't even know she has like a command grab-esque move. I did panic pretty heavily when that happened. I feel like I got really lucky throughout the fight, and I have, again, a hard time distinguishing how much harder it would be if I lost, and I had to go out the fight multiple times. Following what I think is a hot take is going to be another hot take, and that's just going to be the fucking alligator, man. Or whatever, it's an alligator, right? That thing made me almost want to quit the DLC. Between some of the camera work just getting in the way, the logs kind of getting in the way for like dodging, this thing constantly is attacking. And it has such a large hitbox, you can't get to the side of it because it does a tail whip. He's got the command bite. And for a first boss, it definitely sets the tone for the DLC. Now, with that boss, I don't know if people are going to disagree with me because there's tons of people on Reddit not complaining, they're complaining that the difficulty spike is insane. And that, especially the people who are playing New Game Plus, they don't want to reduce the difficulty, and this guy is a hard check on how hard the DLC is going to be. So he's got to be here. He's got to be at this number. He's got to be at least halfway up the list. And if you disagree, let me know. Now for my top 3, I think number 3 would actually be the leader of the bastards. I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Lumatio? It was obvious this man was going to be a boss, right? Just written plain as day. It is cool. He's a two-phase boss. Two-phase bosses usually are a pain in the ass. And the first one is cool to me because I use the umbrella. But I realized he was just going to be extremely counter heavy. You can play against that really easy. But it's his second phase that pisses you off. Because not only does he take a potion to heal in the fight, which I think everyone gets mad about. Only I can heal. He just gets way more erratic with his movements. He's flying all over the place. And you're in a really small arena. It's kind of hard to get used to, even with someone like myself who really tries to min-max stamina and forget about health. Parrying is a vital component, but the smoke screens and the bombs in between phases, it's an interesting fight, but I think just the size of the room makes it a bit difficult. Now, we could throw the size of a room right out the window with number 2, and that's going to be the Anguished Guardian of the Ruins. I don't know why this guy looks so familiar to me. I don't really understand the lore, but he also is a 2-phase boss. But he's a big boy. He shoots, not Sonic, Sonic Boom. He shoots waves out. He swings his trident. He kind of flops all over the place during the first phase. And then he powers up just like these weird guys are, this Simon Manus looking motherfucker. And then he starts going bullshit. He starts roaring out, I don't even know what it is. It looks like a laser to me. The dodging is a little bit weird. And it just feels like some of the hurt boxes or hit boxes, however you want to describe it, can be a bit jank with him. And I've always struggled with a semi-large boss and their erratic movement. Case in point, I talked about the tyrannical predator, aka the alligator, crocodile, wherever the hell he is. And those same growing pains for myself appeared in this boss fight. Now, I think it's obvious what number 1's going to be. It's actually really cool. I wasn't expecting him to be the final boss as well. It's Arlecchino, the Blood Artist. This dude, first phase, isn't that crazy? You actually get to use, not a summon, you get Leah. You get the Legendary Stalker to help you. You don't have to. Again, I kind of gave you the hint at the beginning. I like summons. I like having someone distract a person because I don't build into health at all. And that obviously becomes a massive issue for me at certain points in my playthroughs. So you bring Leah up. He starts swinging. He constantly is swinging. Even when you're getting great parries and breaks, even with a good P-Organ upgrade on it, he doesn't really stagger much. And by the time you get stagger on the first phase, if you have Leah up, she just does her crazy Final Fantasy bullshit and gets him ready for the second one, which is, dude, let me tell you, I thought I was ready, and I'm not. This dude is on levels of, like, Primal Radon, if you've played the Elden Ring DLC, for, like, how he initiates the fight, because it's just, he starts shooting fireballs, and then he does, like, a 5-thing swing, then it becomes a blade that spins around him and you're trying to dodge backwards, but then he sets like half the arena on fire that explodes underneath you. And this whole time, you're just fighting for your life to stay alive. You don't even have an opportunity to really hit him. And then, if you're watching the gameplay, you can see I am legit throwing everything I have at him, trying to keep him at a distance. And I just got extremely lucky because he's going to keep doing combos like that for the remainder of the fight. There was plenty of times where I could do just fine on the first phase. Sometimes it would hit me hard. And then second phase was just like, can I live his initial attack? And 90% of the time I couldn't. And then the extra 10% until the time I won was like, dude, I get 2-3 hits in and this guy's doing it all over again. And then I just couldn't handle it. But all fantastic boss fights in my opinion. They were all completely, they were all like independent of themselves. They all felt unique. And it's weird to me, side note, that when you do the boss rush mode, a lot of these guys don't show up. I think only 3 of the 7 bosses you can do in like the 3 fights at a time. I could be wrong. I'll check myself. But yeah, these fights are awesome, man. I think for the DLC that clearly set its tone with the alligator that this was going to be more difficult than the base game. It stood the test of time throughout. And for the power curve or like how difficult the bosses get, I feel like how I ranked these is almost exactly how they appeared at one point, which is commendable to me. I love this DLC. Now, for you in the chat, I would love to know, who was the most difficult boss for you if you bought Lies of P, or who do you think is just the coolest boss design? I'd love to hear. I like interacting with you guys. And if you got this far in the video, I really appreciate you. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you soon. Peace.